Welcome back to Community Focus here on Channel 6 TV. I'm glad you could join us. And we've been trying to talk to you about a lot of going on in the community, or a lot of community events, community organization, civic clubs. And one of the civic clubs that I know of that's been doing a lot of good in Nelson County for quite a number of years is the Rotary Club here in Bardstown. And I've got one of the charter members here, not very many of those left, I don't think, but one of the charter members here of the Rotary Club when it came to Bardstown, and Tommy Reed. And Tommy, first of all, before we get started, how long has the Rotary Club been here in Bardstown?
January of 1980 is when we chartered, and we were real lucky to get together and have 22 business and professional people in Bardstown gather together and say, okay, we wanted to do some good, some service for the community. And there was the E-Town Rotary Club took it on as a project, and Dick Harlan was the gentleman's name that he came over every week for not just 1 year, for 2 years. One to get us started, and the next one to make sure that we stayed there.
Make sure you showed up.
Yes, and so a lot of kudos go to Dick Harlan.
Good. Well, basically, I know you, Bill Conway, maybe one or two
David
others.
Clark.
David Clark are the only three originals still there right now, but it's grown considerably, and it's changed considerably as well. But the whole idea behind the Rotary Club, I mean, the word Rotary itself, I know Bennett moved around from one spot to another, but what is it that you wanted to see out of the Rotary Club?
Well, first of all, we started and we were just trying to basically see what the needs of the community were, and we'd raise a little bit of money with a pancake breakfast, but also it's an international organization. And so we got heavily into exchange students. In 1986, or really just 5 years after we started, Bob Murray, who was at Heaven Hill at the time, Bob was the president at that time, and he started talking to people who had done exchanges. And we had a young girl from Australia come in 1985, and she spent 9 months in Bardstown, and every 3 months she would stay with a different family. She went to Bardstown High School, and she enjoyed it so much that she's been back at least one time, and I've been over to Australia to visit her one time. So anyway, she did great, and then the next year we thought so much of it. We had a student from Norway and from Italy, and they came to exchange. And the one thing about exchange means we had to find somebody that wanted to go over there. So the second year we had to get on board to that, and we had the two twins from, I guess it was Dagwood's, John Hall. His two twin sons, one went to Norway and one went to Italy. And so our program started off pretty good. So we got very heavily into the next 9 years into exchanges. So we thought we helped kids here, and also we had kids coming in from the other countries that kind of enlightened us on what the world was all about. So,
well, basically, back when you first got started, and even today, you're still recruiting people to join the Rotary Club. What is the target type of person you're looking for to join the Rotary Club?
Well, we're looking for business and professional people that really have a concern about, what the community needs are, and also to get into not just local, but also statewide and also international wide, if they would want to, and just again to make that connection. And not only is it something as far as a local club goes, but it allows you to network around the state and around the world even. So we have some people that are writing and conversing and making notes with people that are far, far away from here.
Right. Well, one of the things I first noticed about the Rotary Club when I first was looking around is, as you mentioned, international. I know Rotary is pretty much given credit for stamping out polio through most parts of the world.
Yeah.
Clean water projects through many parts of the world. But not only that, right here in their own community, several other projects.
Well, and like I said, we've gotten on board with Dean Watts and his hunger campaign there for the local citizens, and we have J.W. Mattingly kind of heads us up a little bit, and so did Jamie Sizemore, and we get out once a month and have at least about 8 or 10 Rotarians that help put together those boxes and stuff that people drive up and pick those up. So we're helping in that project, but also I have a project that the Bardstown Rotary Club got into. It's called Kids Against Hunger, and we sat there and with the assistance and manpower that we needed from the Bethlehem Interact Club, we kind of put those two things together, and it costs us about $5,000, but we have all this bulk food that comes into us, and we do it on Martin Luther King Day, and we take about 3 or 4 hours, and the kids and the Rotarians and their families, We sit there and we package up into little pouches. So it feeds about 6 people.
Yeah.
And we mix it just right so that when they get this package, they can put it into a kettle and it'll be enough of a meal for 6 people. Well, last year we did about 90 boxes, which was about over 20,000 meals for people, and we sent it to the Philippines last year because the previous year they had that, we call it a hurricane, but they call it a
Well, the Philippines would be typhoon.
cyclone or typhoon, yeah. So at that time, we saw the need there, and this was the second year last year, so we gathered together and we've gotten some help, and probably we still need a little bit more help maybe as far as the assistance for that $5,000. But at the same time, we're going to gather together on Martin Luther King Day, and it's not a day off. We tell the kids that are out of school and the Rotarians that are off work, this is a day of service. And we would like for you to at least spend half that day giving back. So that's what we'll do. And like I said, this year we're looking at sending it to Liberia, which is West Africa, which is having the Ebola. So that's one of the things that we're looking at in that project. And then of course we have our other projects. We have on the usually it's the last Thursday in September. We have Kids Day.
Kids Day. And
Kids Day, basically, for those people that don't know it, the city graciously allows us to take the lawn of City Hall, and we have balloons, we have ice cream we give away, we have inflatables that we pay for. The Rotary Club pays for all those inflatables that we set up. The Boy Scouts are nice enough to put up a rope bridge. I think the radio station will come by and kind of be a DJ and let the music and make announcements and stuff. And so for about, from 4 to about 7, we let the kids, it's all free. So they go, they eat ice cream, they play, they jump, and they have a good time. And these are kids that, might not experience it.
Right.
So again, that Kids Day does a real good job for us. And again, on the other side, we have 2 major projects that fund most of these things. And we have the Wine and Cheese Festival in late May, early June that we raise money for. And then the second thing that we have, let me slide this off here.
There you go.
But anyway, we have the Wine and Cheese Festival, and then also we have the Spirits Garden that we're in charge of during Bourbon Festival. Yeah. And so both of those fund all these major projects that we do. We give away $10,000 in scholarships to seniors around the community, around the high schools in the community. So part of that comes from that. And I'm thinking that...
they got Coda Kid. I know that's in December every year.
Coda Kid in December. It's very gracious of Kenny Rapier and the laundry there. They sit there and they'll take in these slightly used coats and whatever, and they'll clean them and mend them and whatever it takes. And then we disperse, and we do about 700 coats. Yeah. And we work with the resource centers of both Nelson County and Bardstown. So even if we don't have the right size, Bardstown Rotary Club will sit there and pay for a new coat to make sure that kid has a coat.
Yeah, well, like and you mentioned earlier, you got scholarships goes out, a lot of other things, but there's a lot of other civic groups you fund. I know it's back in United Way, we're a recipient of funds from Rotary. So a lot of other organizations I know get money through Rotary too.
Right. And again, like I said, we have the center that's over right off of Jones Avenue that takes care of
Guthrie Opportunity Center.
And then also the I guess the single mothers or mothers with kids that become homeless. We help fund that.
Right.
What's the name
of
it?
Is that Bethany Haven?
Bethany Haven. We fund Bethany Haven. And there's just so many good things out there that, we'll have people come to us. In fact, we have speakers every week. And if that speaker can sit there and tell us what they need the money for and where it's going to, then we'll gladly sit there and fund at least part of that project. I'm thinking.
Well, it's an education. As you mentioned, the speakers every week. A lot of times, it may not always be about money. It might just be awareness of something that's going on in the community. So, being a part of the Rotary Club, you actually get to get your pulse on what's going on in the community that you might otherwise may not know about.
Right, and of course, like I said, some of the speakers are for that. But then also, we'll have coming up. In fact, I am also the program chair. I don't know how I got that job, but among my many other jobs.
You missed a meeting.
Yeah, but we have coming up, we'll have the mayor speak to us at the end of the month, and hopefully he's going to give us some insight of where he wants to take the city. And then we'll have the county judge executive, he'll come and talk to us about how they're set up and what their projects are, and then we'll have the chief of police and the chief of fire, and then we'll go out into the community and say, okay, we would like to know more about this or know more, and we'll have that person come in and speak to us. So it is a good way for these business and professional people that we have in our club, like you said, to learn more about the community.
Well, if somebody wanted to join the Rotary Club and want to know more about the Rotary Club, who do they get in contact with? How do they go about joining?
Basically, you're going to just basically find a Rotarian. And so of all the different Rotarians, our president this year is Sandra Cunningham, who is out at Fort Knox Federal. Or you can really, myself, you, or whoever it might be, you just basically make that contact. And in the interim, we'll sit there and bring you to Rotary Club meetings for a couple of weeks so you can see what we're doing.
And you might not like us.
and again, what we're looking for is somebody that is a business or professional person in the community that really wants to work and help.
And I know I've been involved with the Rotary Clubs in all 3 counties that the Channel 6 is in, Lebanon, Springfield, and Bardstown, and all 3 have very active Rotary Clubs in all 3 counties.
Yes, they are. And again, like I said, we've even looked, we haven't ever got together, but we've looked initially to say, okay, all 3 of us are affected by the education that goes on at St. Catherine's. And we try to look to see, okay, can we start a Rotaract Club at St. Catherine's? But we just haven't made that connection. Like I told you earlier, I am in charge of the Interact Club. That is young people at Bethlehem High School, and they have to do service projects, and we want them to understand it's not about them. It's about the people that are out there that need them.
Well, that's a great way to introduce young people to the service community, because a lot of us don't understand that until we get much older sometime, and it's a good thing to learn as you're younger that you can make a difference in your own community, and Rotary Club is one of the best ways I found to get involved.
Right, and so again, like I said, we've been here for a little bit over 30 years, and hopefully, as we go further along, another 30 years, we'll be making an impact. We're up to about 45 members right now, and I don't know how much further we want to grow, but 50 or 60 members would make it a little bit easier on, as far as the work goes, because we do put in a lot of work. The next project that I have a little bit to do with is we have a speech contest, and so the speech contest we've gone to each one of the local high schools. We say, okay, the prize money, if you go all the way through the state, is $2,000. So it's $300 at about each level, and it gets bigger at the state level. But we have a speech contest that you need to be signed up by Valentine's Day, and then we'll take a representative from each school, and at the very first part of March, we'll have a local speech club, and then the winner of that person will go on to a sectional, a regional, and a state. So that's, hopefully that person will be
well, if you want to find more information, you can got a website now, got a Facebook page. Just Google us on there somewhere, Rotary Club in Bardstown, or your local Rotary Club in Lebanon or Springfield as well. So you can find out a whole lot of information on how to get in contact with a Rotary member who's always looking for good members.
We're always looking for good members. We got a lot of work we can do. And
we got a lot of work. I know you keep us all busy. Well, Tommy, I appreciate you being here today, and I appreciate everything you've done with the Rotary Club over the years, and hopefully we got many more years to do this.
I hope many more years to come.
Many more years to come. Well, thanks a lot for sticking around with us today on Community Focus. This is Kenny Fogelman, joined with Tommy Reed here at the Rotary Club for today. And we hope you'll stick around. We got a lot more to come on Community Focus this week and every week. So take care, everybody. We'll see you next time on Community Focus here on Channel 6 TV, CKTV, Central Kentucky. Take care, everybody.